Hi, I'm Kelly Bousman, Head of Global Marketing for AVI SPL, and I'm joined today by Matt Domit, our Head of IT. We're here to talk about OneUP, and I'm particularly excited about this initiative because having been with AVI SPL now for many, many years, I've seen a lot of our growth. I've seen our growth here in the US, I've seen our growth abroad, I've seen the growth in the types of solutions and services we bring to market, and I see OneUP as a pivotal moment in our transformation and how we will continue that growth. So we're going to talk to Matt today about what OneUP means, what are some of the enhancements we'll all feel, and how will this improve the way we work. So Matt, could you please tell us what systems and processes will be enhanced by OneUP, and how will this improve the way we work?
Actually, most, if not all, of our systems will be replaced with these new platforms that we've purchased. And the goal is to improve processes and bring advanced tools to the business to greatly enhance our ability to perform work and to enrich the customer experience. There are tools and reporting capabilities that we just don't have today that will benefit the business in every way.
Thank you. I think when I think of these tools and these reporting capabilities, I think about how this will probably be the first time in our history where we've had systems that are all connected to one another, so that the flow of information about the customer or about our work or about our projects will be in one system, so that the reporting will give us a 360 view of our business as well as a 360 view of the customer. So more specifically, how do you see this benefiting our sales team, enhancing our operations capabilities, or improving our field services organization?
Well, Kelly, to your point, having an integrated platform is going to be a big benefit for us as a business. It's one of the main drivers behind why we embarked on this journey in the first place. It's the fact that different lines of business don't communicate with each other, and as the customer takes their journey throughout the organization and their experience, there is disparate information and disparate processes in place, and it leads to a suboptimal experience for our customer. For example, sales and marketing, lead generation capabilities, opportunity management, territory management, and now the quoting process will be much more enhanced than anything we have today. If you think about the fact that for the longest time we've wanted to sell all of our products and services easily through the quoting system and haven't been able to, well, you'll have that ability now. So we know that's a big win. On the operations side, it's really around resource management and task management and being able to see in detail how the workforce is performing and where we are within the project plan, and be able to communicate that to our customers, because we know that type of transparency is important. For field services, it's a very similar need where there's automation, there's mobile capability, and again, it's just workforce management and the operational efficiencies that come with these advanced features will be a major improvement for us as a business. And again, it's meant to be global. So when we say this, it's the entire business working as one.
This is a big transformation for us. These are transparencies and visibilities we haven't had before. And if we haven't had these things before, or this access before, even these tools, how will everyone get up to speed? How will we train everyone? And how will everyone understand how they interact with different pieces of the platform, or even different teams that they may not have directly interacted with before?
It's a great question. So we know with large implementations like this that a lot of the risk and challenge is really around change and process and training and other areas where knowledge is critical to business success. So we have a very robust change management plan that we're executing on. It has details around training and communication to allow the associates to learn more about these platforms at an earlier stage in the process. So change management really takes on several forms. A lot of it is, yeah, you have to learn the software, but it's also, how does my job change, and understanding how to go from what we do today to what tomorrow's, work environment will be, which again is an improvement over what we have.
I think you just hit on something that's key, and that's the early awareness of what will be upgraded in the system, or what pieces of our day-to-day work are going to have new processes. So could you specifically maybe tell us what are the different components of the OneUp platform?
Sure. So for sales, we've known for a long time that our ability to quote all of our products and services effectively has been a challenge. So one of the key areas for us to focus on in this first phase is the quoting system, which will allow us to sell products, services, integration work seamlessly and with a great continuity. And then downstream from that, we have projects and operations that will be enhanced through advanced project management systems that, again, bring all the information together and tie into financials and the accounting processes. Field services will have similar capabilities where the task force can be managed readily. There's automation in that. So these are very advanced tools, especially around quoting and fulfillment, which we know is the most complex part of our business.
So can you tell us a little bit about the mobility capabilities?
Sure, absolutely was a key requirement when we went into this initiative, was to have the mobile capabilities for our field level workforce, and of course anywhere in the business where someone is remote or mobile, having full capabilities on the phone or the tablet was a key requirement. And we're seeing a lot of these capabilities now in these early looks at the software, and it's substantial. So let's say for a field technician to be able to enter time and show the job was completed and move on to the next case or the ticket in a streamlined fashion, these are powerful capabilities. In the warehouse, we'll have barcoding capabilities, and all can be done by the phone. Sales can quote, in the car, not while you're driving, but in the car, or on the road. Full capabilities from the mobile was a requirement from the beginning, and we knew that was something we heard from early on, that was a key requirement and a potential differentiator for us as a business.
We're talking about a fall release date here in the U.S. How much time before that release date, or when will the training begin? So
the methodology we've chosen for training and exposure to these platforms is pretty traditional, where we start with a core team that will learn the ins and outs of the application and will help guide us to make sure that we're meeting those objectives. As we get a little bit farther down the road, then we broaden that scope and that team so that more and more exposure to the business will be given. And in parallel, we will instate these formal training programs to where you will have materials, you'll have leadership that will guide you through it, and by the time we get to launch, it won't be a surprise as to how the software works. And that's where a lot of companies make mistakes, is that training is neglected until the latter part of the process. Relative to the amount of change, but also just good practice, smart practice, is to get training functions in place as early as now. And so we've already started that process. And so that is a component of change management, along with some of the other assessments that'll be taking place. And then if you're a part of the core team today, then you're already getting exposed to some of the software capabilities. And these individuals will be enlisted as change agents. They will help facilitate the change, and in some cases, absolutely, it's train the trainer. They will be able to train their constituents and their staff and impart knowledge on the rest of the business. And then, of course, leading up to the end of the summer is when everyone will have access to these platforms so they can see it firsthand.
What do we think are the critical success factors to get us there?
Well, it can be overwhelming, I'll admit that. At the same time, we have an excellent team, and there's a lot of commitment and engagement from the business, which is absolutely essential. So when we talk about critical success factors, it is absolutely critical that we, first of all, stay objective, and that we are healthy in our communication methods. And then within that, we need to always be focused on the core objective and not lose sight of that. That we're going to encounter many new things. There are plenty of unknowns that we're already starting to uncover that could easily distract us from that goal. It's important for everyone to understand that we'll have plenty of opportunities to come back and improve and refine and mature these systems and our processes. But let's get that first objective met. It is absolutely essential that we don't lose sight of that goal.
What are some of the challenges that you're seeing with the OneUp program? And how can we correct these? How can we work together? What are things that people who are watching this video can understand about the common goals, as well as things that we can all be doing to help us reach that milestone?
Well, I mean, we are moving very fast, so it can be difficult at times to keep it all in perspective. I would ask that everyone remain very objective in this process, because what we're finding now is, which is to be expected, that there are some unknowns. These are very complex systems, and they have a lot of capability, which is fantastic, but there are some unknown factors in this, and as those surface, it's tempting to want to explore and potentially deviate. And we just have to understand that we'll have chances to come back and refine and improve and continually improve. So it's staying objective, staying focused, and staying energized as well.
So you mentioned a feedback loop, essentially, from everyone who's impacted by the project. So I want to remind everyone we have a OneUp email address, oneup@avispl.com. That is monitored in real time, and wherever a question could have a subject matter expert within the business, we direct it there so that we can get you an answer on what processes are being implemented in the new platform and what differences there may be in how we work going forward versus the way we do things now. And so you mentioned that, you know, the goal in order to reach the milestone of the fall launch is to accomplish our baseline and then grow from there. So how can employees who are watching this help this success? How can we all chip in?
Actually, there's several ways to stay engaged and connected. There are resources on the hub, which we talked about earlier, and I mentioned in my previous video. The OneUp email address, you could utilize at any time. There are resources, plenty of resources available on the hub under OneUp, which is everything from recordings of sessions to project-related materials. There's a lot of detail there. I would also leverage and work with local management and your leadership team, as they are, of course, informed and plugged in, and they should be able to help give you guidance as well. I mean, that is part of the process here, is to make sure that at all levels everyone is engaged and informed and educated, and also has the opportunity to influence the outcome. So leverage local leadership and local management as well in the process. So there are many ways to communicate and stay interacted.
Matt, thank you for the information you've shared with us, the details that we're getting around the scope of OneUp, how it's progressing, when it will launch, and when we'll all have a chance to start using these enhanced business tools. So thank you.
Well, thank you, Kelly. It's very exciting to be able to talk about these details with you and the rest of the business. There's so much potential. It's a great feeling to be a part of it. So thank you for having me.
Thank you. And for those of you watching, we are going to have another Q&A coming up, and this one will be a live Q&A with Matt in a few weeks, where you'll be able to bring your questions, put them in the queue like we do with the town hall, but this will be entirely focused on OneUp. So we hope you'll join us then.